I wanted to go over what were your feelings about Lego when you started the movie, and how did that change?
Yeah, for me, starting this film re-energized my interest in Lego and really encouraged me to not only pick up the brick for myself, but really sort of further engage with my child in a way that we hadn't before. Generally, Lego sets we buy kits for our kid and he'd play on his own, but really what the film did for me is it encouraged me to actually build with him, which was a very bonding experience.
And for you?
Yeah, I think for me there was a sense of nostalgia going into this film because Lego was a big part of my childhood, and in our animated sequence there's the space, the classic space edition features heavily in that, and that's because certainly for me that was a huge set for me as a kid. So I went into it with a sense of nostalgia, but the making of the film really gave me more of a sense of wonder of what's out there and how huge this community is and how diverse and how much stuff is being done, which really was an eye-opener for me as a filmmaker too. My Lego experience now, I have 2 daughters. I actually, they are most engaged with the Friends set, and I am unabashedly a fan. I know there's some people that aren't fans, but I am a huge fan of Friends, and my daughters are too.
Okay.
Who's not a film
Fan of Friends. Yes, you know that conversation.
That's two different things. Okay, what surprised you most?
Yeah, I mean, the film was constant surprises. I think whenever we thought we opened the last door, a new one would open. I mean, the Lego therapy. There's a section of the film that's showcasing how people are using Lego in a therapeutic way. I had no idea about that, not whatsoever. I think I knew about First Lego League, but I didn't realize the depth of it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just blown away on a non-stop basis as the level of talent out there. Just, every time we'd go to a convention and we'd see something that would just outdo the last thing. I mean, there's so many people and adults that are very passionate about building, and that was actually a big surprise, was just how big the adult fan of the AFOLs are, how many of them there are, and how they've sort of come together in a very sort of bonding way and meet each other every year. There's a great community that's formed around Lego.
Since we're at San Diego Comic-Con, how is a BrickCon different from a San Diego Comic-Con or ComicCon?
More monsters here, I think. Well, it's a different thing. I mean, it's just Comic-Con. It's started out with comic books, and now the movie industry is infused itself in that. It's Lego certainly has a good part in Comic-Con, but Comic-Con really is its own beast. When you go to the conventions, it's Lego. It's all Lego. Where here you have lots of different things to look at and things to do.
Would you say though there's a shared spirit though, and this idea of creating your own image and creating your own thing, and or appropriating images and then kind of like Xing that, maxing that out.
Well, I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's the communities. There's a reason why there's an overlay between the two communities.
Well, just to follow up on Daniel,
Yes.
I mean, when I was on the plane ride coming over here, the guy right behind me, I overheard his conversation. It was kind of a loud one. It's impossible not to hear. But he was just talking about how once a year, this is what he looks forward to most. Coming to Comic-Con, dressing up, seeing his friends, showing off his costume. And it's a similar thing at the Lego convention. This is something that
totally
is built up, throughout the year, and people spend the entire year building these massive creations, and then they get to display themselves and their work. So that's common ground there for sure.
Okay, and when people go to see your movie, what do you want them to take away from this?
Well, I think we're already hearing what we couldn't have hoped for in our wildest dreams, which is as soon as people walk out, and this happened last night's screening, half a dozen people said, I want to build. They want to get their hands on Lego right away. Yeah. And that's just, I think, a testament to the joy that Lego, that hopefully the film is demonstrating that Lego brings people. But that's a real honor.
Yeah, and I think really just inspiring and encouraging families to build together you know, to leave together and want to build together, you know, is great. I mean, I know it happened to me, and I can see it happen to others. But last night was cool because it was like really the first screening that I could think of, because we haven't had a whole lot, that there were a lot of kids there.
Yeah.
And to see how engaged they were, and it was a cool feeling. They were into it.
It'll be the first documentary you can bring your kids to, you know, bring your 6-year-old to see a documentary in the theater.
And that was the goal as well. It's like, let's make a film that families could see together and enjoy together.
Okay, and afterwards at the Q&A, you did mention that there were a lot of things that you weren't able to include that you're hoping to include in the DVD special features, DVD Blu-ray special features. Would you like to mention a few of those, since it seems we have time?
Sure, I think we both have a favorite of those.
So let me know about it.
There's a chapter that I really hated cutting, but it had to be done on you know, lugs, these Lego user groups around the country, but now there's these virtual lugs in some cases. People are getting together online and building together, and we featured a virtual lug of guys called Bro Lug, and they usually outdo themselves every year with some sort of post-apocalyptic nightmare scene at different Lego conventions, and they did a cyberpunk city scene that I was just blown away by that. And when I watched them kind of max that out for the next Lego convention, we followed that story, we profiled some of those guys, and really lamented seeing that go, because I think it represented what Lego's becoming, the community, not just face-to-face, but online.
And
yeah,
for you?
That was pretty cool. I mean, that was one of my favorites as well. I mean, it was a standout. And just as far as cutscenes, I think also, I talked about it last night, but having to cut our championship,
first Lego League.
You know, there's Lego Leagues all across the U.S., and it's a big story, and ultimately it felt like it was really its own film. And
yeah, it's the challenge to all those filmmakers out there to make a feature-length doc on, because that's what should be done. It was just too big of a story for our film.
Is that like your next project?
No, that should be your next project.
Give it to someone else.
It was just really an honor and at times scary to do this film, because the responsibility is so large, and we hope we've done good.
Yeah. Well, last night Nathan Sawai handing us our Lego Oscars. That was
That was pretty cool.
pretty cool. That was awesome.